Alright, so this is a great piece by Barrios. Other than like the first couple measures and the very last measure, everything is tremolo. So if you have a hard time with tremolo, I have some tremolo exercises if you go to my guitar school on my website. They're free to watch. So let's go ahead and get started. For the first measure, I start off like this, first finger, third finger. If that's a bit of a stretch, you can certainly go 1-4 like that. But I go... And then for the second measure, you just take your first finger and move it up 1 fret. And I use all thumb with that, so... Now the reason I go 1 and 3 instead of 1 and 4 is because the next measure you have this, and I always find this move to be somewhat awkward, so I use that 3 and then my pinky's free to just drop there for that third measure. So this is where the tremolo comes in. Hit the open second, and then my first finger goes back to the 8th fret, open. Alright, then if you go to measure 4, after we're up here, we're going to go down to a full bar at 3, and then I get my middle finger there. So you're going to go. Pinky goes to the 5th fret. And then for the next measure, what I do is I put my third finger down and I take my first finger off and I bring it to the 3rd fret. So you've got this, open 5. So looking at those two measures, you go like this. Another thing you can do from going from measure 4 to 5, and this is something I've seen other guitarists like David Russell do, is you're here, is he just lifts up the bar but keeps pressure down on that first string. And then for measure 6, you would just take that and move it down. For me, it's just a little bit easier to play it this way. Alright, and then we go to, I call it the little D form. It's just like a D chord here, except we're at the 3rd fret and then the first finger is at the 5th string. So you go like this. So measure 6 and 7 slowly go like this. And when I go from that change from measure 6 to measure 7, I just put the fingers down in order of when I need them. So if we're here, and then we go, so I'm just going down, 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 instead of all down at the same time. After this, in measure 8, we have this, the melody kind of ascends. So slowly you're gonna start off with this, 1, 4, and 3, and you're gonna go. And then middle finger is gonna go here, open first, open second. First finger goes to the D sharp, 1st fret on the 4th string. And then I use my pinky there. So slowly that measure goes. And then pinky is going to act as a guide finger up to that 5th fret. Middle finger on the 4th fret, 4th string. 3rd finger goes down there. So slowly 8 and 9 sound like this. After this, you're just going to go first finger on that 3rd fret on the 1st string. Everything else is open. And then you're going to go 8th fret, open 3, and then the 1st finger goes here, so it's 5th fret on that 3rd string. This creates octaves. And you're just going to take this pattern and then move it down to the 2nd fret. So that measure slowly goes like this. I take my pinky, it's going to act as a guide finger. I take it down to the 3rd fret, and I put my first finger on that 1st fret, 5th string. My middle finger will go on that 1st fret, 2nd string. Then, going into measure 13, your pinky acts as a pivot finger, so it stays down while you form the next chord. And then for measure 14, I take off the pinky and I shift my hand around, so you can see I do a bar that covers the first 2 strings. And then I lift up on the bar and just cover that 1st fret on the 2nd string. So those 2 measures, measure 14 and 15, slowly go like this. Now I keep that 1st finger and I put my pinky at that 4th fret. And then for measure 17, I keep the 1st and 4th fingers down and I put my middle finger down on that 2nd fret, 5th string. Alright, and then measure 18, we have the bass line moves, but then the top part stays the same. So I do a bar at 4, and I hit the 3rd, and then tremolos on that 2nd string. Pinky goes to the 7th fret, 4th string. And then middle finger back to that 7th fret. So slowly. And then what I do is my pinky will then go to the 7th fret on the 1st string. So slowly. And then my pinky acts as a guide finger. And what happens now is it just repeats what we did in the beginning up to a certain part. So we have this. And then we go down. This is repeat. Repeat. So that's all a repeat. Now we're going to go to something different. So measure 25, the pinky goes up to the 5th fret, and then I'm going to form this chord right here. So this is a diminished chord. It's one of my favorite chords on the guitar. And this is another situation where I'll just put the fingers down when I need them. So if you take it the last part of measure 24, we have this. Then the pinky goes up to the 5th fret. I'll go open 6. 1st finger. 3rd finger. And then my middle finger. So again. Alright, and then measure 26. First finger is going to be at that 3rd fret on the 1st string. Open 6. Open 2nd. 3rd finger goes to that 5th fret. So again. Alright, measure 27, open 6. That gives you a little extra time to get up here. So we're at the 13th fret. Open 2nd. 1st finger goes to the 9th fret. Those 2 measures slowly, beginning measure 26. Alright, and then measure 28. We were here, so now we're just going to go to the 12th position. So my first finger's at that 12th fret on the 1st string. So you're going to go middle finger, pinky goes up to the 15th, 3rd finger goes to the 14th. So again. Alright, then if you take a look at measure 29, pinky is going to be here. 1st finger, and then your 3rd finger will hit the 12th fret on that 2nd string, and then your middle finger will go to the 10th fret on the 2nd string. So slowly. Measure 30. I do a bar at 3. I don't actually cover all 6 strings, I just cover the 5, and my middle finger will be here. And so you're gonna hit the 5th string, the 3rd string, pinky goes down to the 5th fret, like that. So now, getting into that measure, what I will often do, which is kind of a natural spot in the phrase, is I will slow down at measure 29 and then jump down to the new position in measure 30. So it just happens to work out that during the phrase, it's just a nice spot to do that. So slowly you might go, slow down, and you kind of speed back up again. So measure 30, we have this. Open 5, and what I do, you don't have to do this, but I do a half bar at 5. It's just easier for me to play that. And then my pinky just goes to the 7th fret, open 4, open 3. 3rd finger goes to that 7th fret on the 3rd string. 3rd finger then acts as a guide finger to the 9th fret, and then my middle finger. So slowly that measure goes. And then my middle finger acts as a guide finger up to the 10th fret. And I'm going to go open 4. And I actually form this chord right here. I think of this as just like a D minor chord. Here's D minor, well, D minor like that. Same form, we're just playing it way up here. So you've got open 4, 3rd, 2nd string. All right, then you're going to take these 2 fingers, the pinky and the middle finger, move it down so that the middle finger is at the 8th fret, and then your 1st finger goes on that 7th fret, 3rd string. So it's so slowly that measure goes. And then you take off that 1st finger, and then that 1st finger goes back down. So again, you're going to take it off and then put it back on. So you got. And then 1 and 2. All right, and then you're just going to go 1, 3. And then the 3rd finger goes up 1 fret, and you're going to use that middle finger. 3rd finger acts as a guide finger down to the 5th fret, and your 1st finger goes to the 3rd fret. Middle finger. So slowly that measure goes. And then my 1st finger acts as a guide finger down to the 2nd fret. And open 4, open 2nd string, middle finger, open 6. Notice the 3rd finger now goes to that 3rd fret, 1st finger. So that measure slowly goes. All right, then measure 36, we're going to form a B minor chord, except our 1st finger is going to cover all 6 strings. So measure 36, we've got this, 6th string, 4th, 2nd, and then we're going to go. So 1st, 3rd finger. 1st finger acts as a guide finger. I just put it at the 2nd fret and then pinky. Middle finger goes to that 2nd fret. Now for a lot of that measure, I just put the fingers down when I need them. So I'm not putting that whole chord down at the same time. So if I start the end of measure 36, we've got this. So you can see I put this down first, then this, and then that. So then you take a look at measure 38, we have a B minor chord. And then I just hit the 4th and the 1st string. All right, then we have a rather large shift up. So that can be a tough move to make. And so one thing you can do is get the bar down first and then put the pinky down. But you have to do it really quickly. So you've got So you bar, bar, and then that. So slowly. So I don't know if you can see that, but I put the bar down first and then the pinky. But you've got this, and then your middle finger is going to be at the 9th fret. Then you hit the 2nd string with the thumb. Pinky is going to go down to the 9th fret, and your 3rd finger is going to go to the 9th fret on that 3rd string. So you've got this, and then you hit the 5th string. So I am keeping this down the whole measure. So again, slowly, you've got this. And then I take off the pinky and the 3rd finger. Take the bar, move it down to 6. Pinky goes up to the 9th fret on the 5th string. So again, middle finger goes to that 7th fret. And then you move the bar up to 5 and you put the 3rd finger here. That's there's a lot going on there. So I'll play it very slowly, measure 40, going into where we finished in measure 41. So you got. Alright, so once we get to this point, I use my middle finger, it goes to the 8th fret, and then the pinky goes here. And then 3rd finger. So slowly that measure 41, is going to go. Alright, so measure 42. We ended with this position here for measure 41. So what I do is I just take my pinky and it goes to the 10th fret, and I've got my 1st finger, and then I put my 2nd finger right here. So you're going to hit with your thumb, you hit the 6th string, the 5th, open 2nd, back to the 5th. And then it repeats. And then what you're going to do is your pinky will go up 1 fret to the 11th. And then you're going to go up to the 12th fret, middle finger will go here, and then 1st finger will go at the 9th fret. So again, slowly that measure goes. And then that repeats. And then you're going to go up to the 14th fret, middle finger will be at the 13th fret, and you're going to go. And you just take this pattern, move it up 1 fret, and then take that pattern and move it up 2 frets. So again, you're here. And then the pinky is going to go down to the 15th fret. Open 6th string. Open 2nd. Then you have this little walking bass line thing. And what I do is I go middle finger, 1st finger goes to the 12th fret, 3rd string, and then right next door. So slowly that measure goes. And then you move your pinky down a fret. Middle finger goes to the 12th. 3rd finger. 1st finger. 2nd finger. So again. Then you move it down to the 13th fret. 11th fret. 3rd finger goes there. 1st finger. 3rd finger. And then for measure 50, you hit the 5th string. Now there's a couple ways to do it. You can do a bar. I go first, and then 3rd finger. So. And in the last part of that measure, your middle finger goes to the 12th fret. So slowly that measure goes. Then you're going to form this D major looking thing. So here's D major, except you're right up here. You're going to hit the 2nd string, 3rd string. So you were here, this middle finger acts as a guide finger to there, and then you hit the 2nd string. And then you form this D major looking thing again. Slowly that measure goes. So that middle finger is acting as a guide finger throughout. Then this pattern continues in the next measure. So if you take a look at measure 52, so we had this before. Then a half bar at 7, middle finger. Then we go to that D form, and then pinky. Pinky acts as a guide finger down to the 8th fret. So that measure goes like this. All right, then we have a big stretch. So third finger is on that 7th fret, pinky is on the 7th fret first string. So you got this, open 3, first finger goes there. Now what you can do with that stretch is after you play it, you can let go of it. Ideally you want it to ring, so. But if you need this third finger to come off to be able to play this note, that can work as well. But I do try and keep it down as much as I can. Then we have this, another big stretch. So middle finger, pinky is going to be at the 8th fret on that first string. First finger is at the 5th fret on the second string. So you've got this. So that measure slowly goes. All right, and then measure 54, we've got this. Still that 3 and 4 stretch. Open 3, first finger, and then a half bar at 5. So again. And then I do a 5/6 bar at 2. So, and as I'm moving down, my middle finger goes to the first string. So I've got this to there. So you have that, third finger, pinky. Take off everything but the bar. So those two measures slowly go like this. All right, and then measure 56, we get to a new section. We switch from E minor to E major. So we have this chord, E major chord. Now this can be very difficult to stretch up there. So what I do is I just keep the minimum amount of fingers down that I need so that I can still make that stretch. So what I'm doing is I'm basically making an E7 chord. So I take off my third finger. I never play that string, so it's not a problem. But you're gonna go middle finger, and what I do is my elbow goes out and when my pinky comes down. It's just easier on my wrist and my hand as opposed to trying to do it like this. So I'll play it again and watch my elbow. And then measure 57, we're going to slide up. The pinky slides up to the 7th fret, and you've got your first finger on the 4th fret on that 6th string. Third finger. Now what I do is I do release this first finger as the measure is going, because this is a heck of a chord going on right here. So you got this. All right, then if you take a look at measure 58, we ended up like this. So I'm gonna put my middle finger down on the 6th fret on that 3rd string. So you're gonna go, take off the pinky. Pinky goes up to the 9th fret. All right, so that's tough. And again, I'm using my elbow to kind of help facilitate that. From this point, your pinky acts as a guide finger. You do a bar at 9, and then my middle finger will be at the 11th fret on that 2nd string. 3rd string. All right, measure 60. What I do is I put these two fingers down first, and then my pinky goes down on that 8th fret on the 2nd string. So slowly it goes. Middle finger goes to the 7th fret on the 2nd string. Then you're gonna go, so all at the 9th fret, middle finger. So slowly that measure goes like this. Pinky goes all the way up to the 14th fret, open 4, open 2nd. 3rd finger goes on that 14th fret on the 3rd string. So again. Then a bar at 4 and the middle finger will be on the 5th fret on the 1st string. And notice I don't do a full bar there. I just cover, for me I cover 5 to 6 string. So that measure again goes. So that line slowly, beginning at measure 60, goes like this. 62, you were here, now we're gonna go. And then the 3rd finger acts as a guide finger up 1 fret to the 7th, and then you form this. I always think of this as like a D7, that form. So once you have this, you got, and then you're gonna move this form up to the 10th fret. Now what I do when I shift up is the pinky acts as the guide finger, and I take the other 2 fingers off because I don't want to get that sound. At least I want to minimize it as much as I can. Like that, and then we go to the next measure, 63. Pinky is going to go to the 9th fret, and we form this, which is just an E major chord. So after this, it goes to that, which turns into a B7 chord. And if you go to measure 64, that's a repeat of what we did earlier. And this is all a repeat. So measure 65 is a repeat, 66 is a repeat, measure 67 is where it changes. So in the end of measure 66, we end up in this position. If I take a look at measure 67, we've got this. And often I will take off that 3rd finger. So I won't let that ring, but if you can do it, that's ideal. But for me, I end up, it mutes that 5th string. So usually what I'll do is I'll take off that 3rd finger. Measure 68, pinky goes down to the 4th fret, bar at 2. 3rd finger goes down. Pinky goes up to the 5th. So slowly that measure goes. Then we have this, very similar to what we did before. Here's that C major, and by similar I mean at the very beginning of the piece. We have this, which is that D major form thing, except we're doing it over here. We've got full bar at 2. And then pinky goes to the 4th fret, 3rd finger, take off 3 and 4, E major. So slowly measures 70 and 71 sound like this. And then measure 72, we have a C major chord. And then measure 73 is a repeat of what we've done before as well. Alright, then measure 74, pinky goes up to the 7th fret, 1st finger goes to the 4th fret on that G sharp, so you've got 3rd finger, open 2nd string, and then middle finger. So I'll play it again slowly. And then pinky goes up to the 12th fret, and I use my middle finger, open 2nd, 9th fret on the 2nd string, So slowly those two measures go like this. And then measure 76, pinky's at the 12th fret, open 6, first finger, third finger, middle finger. So it turns into this 7th chord. Technically, it is a C7 chord. So that measure again, slowly. Open 6th string, middle finger, third finger, and then I lay a bar at 9. And you're going to hit the 3rd string, 2nd, 4th. So that measure slowly is going to go. Measure 78, you're going to hit the 3rd string, 3rd finger goes over to the 11th fret, and then I take off that 3rd finger, you're going to go to the 4th string, and you stretch down to get that 7th fret, and then the 11th fret, and then 7th fret there. So this is all very stretchy. So again, I'll try and move my wrist. Notice my hand kind of flattens out. My elbow comes out a little bit. So I'll play that measure very slowly. You can watch how I do it. So. And then what I do is I just move my first finger to the 7th fret on the 5th string, and my thumb will strum those two. And I actually just let that ring. Then you go to an E major chord. You're going to hit the 6th, 5th, 3rd, and 1st strings. And there it is.